Well, we're back, and now it's Nvidia's chance to slip in a new update. Now, there's not going to be as big of a leap and bound of what they got in. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think it's going to be as decadent as it once was. But hey, you know what? For everything that's been said and done for this update and the way that they've actually been able to perform, in the last few, it's pretty good. But I figured, hey, why don't we start off with a really cool benchmark? This one's going to be with the um, stats of what we have here with my precision already open. And you can see that I have the fan completely boosted open. So this is the great OS that we basically have seen with the 436 point. Yeah, excuse me. 02, not the 1.5 variant. It's been pending the installation. So let's go ahead and at this point in time take a little time to just run the cool times. It's finally stable, so I'm gonna close this. That way there's nothing else really running in the background. Back to 3D mark. Let's go ahead and not run Time Spy. But this time I want to run just a Fire Strike. Because last time I noticed when I was digging through my archive, there was no real Fire Strike that was actually ran. Like with the Nvidia, and I thought that I had the edge with the Radeon card, but it was quickly destroyed over the last time. So, yet again, the 4.36.02 from Nvidia and their Game Ready driver destroyed the point, and it was stable and it worked with 3D benchmarks. Now, there is a DLSS test that I ran prior to this, luckily, and we can run it again once we get the other update and see if it has any direct effect into it. Considering that Nvidia just quickly updated that situation not too long ago, so very interested to see what's going to happen with there. It seems like the frame rates are pretty good. Nothing super crazy. But I'm noticing the bar last time didn't really come out too well. It seemed like with the 1080p, there was a whole uh, okay, I guess that makes sense. It was towards the end of the test, so it just dropped out right before. Excuse me, being stuffed up. I think I might be coming down with a cold or something like that. But needless to say, I'm gonna go ahead and troop through this. This is cutting edge, and I want to try to get into the frame rate point, but looking at see if I can kind of adjust this. Let's see here. There we go. That took down a lot of the contrast point. That should be a little bit easier, especially now since I was able to use the encoder of my lovely portion of my Elgato card to the maximum now. I didn't know I had that in the configuration. So it was on a limited setting the whole darn time, when it could have been a Super Saiyan setting. So I was like, yes, I'll go with the Super Saiyan setting. Color palette. This test is really cool. Probably one of my favorites because there's so much stuff going on with smoke and everything else. And we will get down to the portion of, besides the smoke and volcanoes and lava that's in the background, with patch notes right around more than likely the 10-minute mark. But I just wanted to run a quick benchmark before we do an install. You can see that it pretty much just like slaughtered everything that comes to market when it comes down to the portion of gameplay. Now, again, if this was running in my Intel, even on like my 67K, it probably would get better results just for the simple reason that, I hate to say it, but Intel does have the better gaming CPU. They would probably run it way better with the actual RTX card, but I do like my processing points where I can like destroy stuff. But for running the GPU, that's different versus just running like stress testing points. Like we can get down to amazing scores, as you can see the physical, which it ranks in like very high. So I'm not trying to dog my 2950X. It's amazing, but the single processing versus the combined, they're completely different. But I'm gonna go ahead and pull this directly into this situation as we can go into a thing. Well, let's give it like a time and a half point of like doing a time spy run in the background. We'll hit the news. One of the cool things that I was able to get into while coming into like the gameplay of this is I was able to show that in these. Oh, here we go. I don't know why that was. Oh, I know why. Voila. That should be a little bit better. But this is really cool when it comes down to like the actual freaking like menu. Like I love like being able to find this, and like I guess Nvidia does a really great job of doing a release notes of what they're actually physically doing and changing, as you can read through them yourself. Get down to it. What we're going to is page 13, which is general fixes. Now this is going to be the general fixes for like each phase. There we go. So as you can see, Forza has very well highlighted in the example. And as I jump over directly over here, which is going to be the lovely portion of where Reddit comes into play, you can see that like where once the situation what used to be that situation over here, you can see that it's basically matched up to there, except for like a few whistles of like Overwatch, Firefox, which is really nice in the situation of like understanding that there is a. I can zoom in a little bit more. Some system crashes will be where they mix in where the Pascal and other examples where you can have the driver installation. So try clean installs, like that might be your trick if you're having issues with that. And then for Forza Motorsport 7, there is a corruption on the track, and these are situations that were fixed in this situation. Now, provided the increased performance and the optimized gaming experience for Control. And that came in first, and I noticed that, and then it told me I had another update, so it's syncing this to that, which is pretty cool. So past that, the open issues that are there, basically on their chopping block, which I mentioned before, is Firefox was on the tail end. But we have Tom Clancy's Division 2 again, and the games may crash in the played in the DirectX 12 mode. In that error right there as you get a race situation. Now, as well as on the Overwatch, where the crashes where the rendering devices have been lost in the error. And then Firefox isn't enabled, where flickering occurs. You use full screen video playback in the Firefox. So it's like pretty much it kind of sucks, but like that's why I kind of use Chrome and like other browsers to just kind of like switch around issues, because like I feel like sometimes if one fails, the other will work. To work around, either go to the 60 or 120 hertz, and if the full screen of the Firefox and the G-Sync monitors creates a profile, set on VSync on. It gives you a great resource, and all these are directly linked down below, as you can see in this driver update of 436.15. So that's pretty much it. It's just short. I have all these like directly linked inside of there. For as far as like what you can go into in the description I just showed of my overlay, it comes into it. So that's pretty much it. And we'll go back to the test. Nothing much more past that. I think I might have accidentally like flicked over the overlay too much. It was like the new overlay, like like it telescopes back. It's really cool. But this is my original OBS layout on my Intel. So not as clean as my situation will run out is on like my Threadripper app. I developed that really well. I'm definitely loving the color scheme, like layout that I was able to get on this palette point of like the Elgato card. It's very rich, vibrant. I mean, it's already performing as is, like really high at the gate. But again, this is just like our number standard, like update, nothing crazy. I'm really excited to run like the Port Royal. That's the funnest one of all. Now I do have my AC hooked up to it, so we'll be doing an overclock in the very end, very special one. So stick around to the end. That's gonna be pretty fun. I'm trying to keep this one super short, nothing like super long like the last one where it was like almost like an hour and a half. Well, let's probably sum this up and be like maybe 30, 40 minutes, maybe an hour at most, depending on like what I can like fine tune. This is where my Threadripper excels, which was great. I'm assuming that there'll just be stabilities between a lot of the other cards, but nothing like super crazy. Now, one of the things I'll have to say that like Nvidia did right was when they said that they gave us performance boost, they kind of understated it and then gave us a whole bunch more, which was great. Where AMD's, and I just covered this, and they said we got 10% inside of our quote unquote lab, which was lies. Like when it came down to physical tests, there was no 10% improvement. It was like maybe a nominal 1%. I was just like, but it was more of like a improvement for their 7 nanometer of Navi, because later on when I looked at 3D Mark, I was able to see like a benchmark score of like the 3900 combined with the 5700, and it was like on the top 100 score for Time Spy. So it got its increasement, but Radeon 7 pretty much sank to the bottom of the chart. So not just the funnest situation that I wanted to get into, but at that standpoint, let's go ahead and install the driver. We have a few tests that we can run back to back. And at this point in time, let's go ahead and go to my... Now personally, I just go through here to install directly. This is what I like to do personally. At the same time, what you can do is you can see the studio, which is probably more for like people that are doing more creation, editing, and stuff like that. But if you're doing gameplay, this is like majority of the market. Where you can just check for this update, which is right consistently right there. So it's pretty much 100% done with the download. Go ahead and do the express. Then we'll run it back to back with the fan fully on. Then we'll play with the overclock with the AC on and just run with there. See if we can beat the scores that I got last time. I'm really excited to try to do it with the fire strike with it like really cold. Assuming that I might get some insanely good test scores. I'm hoping. So far, so good. I mean, most installs when it comes down to like driver updates, I feel like they're pretty painless for the most part. You're in and out for probably about 5 to 10 minutes, depending on your processing point. Maybe 30 minutes at most. Yeah, if you're anything past 30 minutes, I would like start to wonder. Most of the computers, even my laptop, like won't take that long. At the same time, like, we can go exploring the manual that we have here. Might as well. While it's installing, we can start reading some of the situations that are at hand. And I can fix this. Let's see here. Go ahead and cool. Nice reference. That's what I was trying to do earlier, but I failed at it. But as you can see right here, besides the situation that's already pulled up, we can get into some more funner situations of oh cool. It like completely is almost done with the update. Installed the like drivers where it kinda like tuned itself out and rebooted itself. Driver security. Oh cool. It's completely done. That did not take long at all. With that being said, let's go ahead and sit there and close. And since it's looking kind of weird right there, go ahead and hit ourselves a reset. Just like a majority of like anything, I always like to reset it. Personally myself. Everything runs really better. Do a nice little quick reset. Now I'm gonna grab reset some moisture with water. As you can see the aloe makes it invisible. No, interesting enough, I was more reading into the point of, I guess, some patents being infringed on between multiple companies, Apple to Asus to the portion of Nvidia, and they may not be able to sell in the States, which would be pretty crazy if you really think about it. All right. Probably gonna load in. Say, hey, you want your VPN? Now I just need to close this. And that's pretty much everything up to date. Let's go ahead and go to our precision. Cool. I hope I didn't click that too many times. Oh, it's fine. It's opening. Okay, let's see what we get ourselves on the score. And I did was able to overclock my Radeon, my card, before the stream started. And I was able to land some pretty good, decent scores. Nothing super crazy awesome, but decent, like 21,000. But versus like my RTX card, it's insanely outpowered. Though I don't think that the introduction of another mid Titan card is like really worthy of our time. But at the same exact time, I am really happy to see that like the 2080s, if they drop down in price, it'd be a really great buy for everyone. Like let's come on, like price it at the Radeon 7, and they probably sell like really well. The frame rate is really great though. It's consistent versus where the Radeon will like run up. This card will consistently keep it like 140 versus like pretty heavy. I'm very curious to see like that. That was actually pretty impressive, almost 180. But where this will like rank in, it's going to be maybe a percent or two, or if it's just going to be more stabilization. That will be the more interesting portion of it. Alright, cool. We'll be getting up to our physical test right now as this kind of comes into our impending portion. It should end. Then we'll get to our overclock, and that's going to be exciting. I am more excited about the overclock. The headroom, what I'm looking to get into. I'll hit the decibel leveler in just a second because I see it turned off. I really wish there was like a way to hold it down or do some kind of like snap finger. But to be honest, like I kind of know it lies around like 71 to 73 on decibel level. More important would be like the outflow of the temperature versus the actual physical GPU temperature, which is probably roughly about 4 to 5 above that. So it's like 41, 40 Celsius. Let's see what the combined can do. Yeah, yeah, that is really stable. Let's see what our score is. Not bad. Let's see here. Compare our scores. 98%, which is not bad because I get 96 to 97 with the portion of my Radeon. But if we look at where we started versus where we got in the beginning, well, that's a solid 250, give or take. And the sad part is when you look at the AMD, where is it? My Radeon, it doesn't do too bad. I've gotten like the 429 mark, but that's still headroom with this with less RAM still is good. So the update's pretty solid. They pretty much fine-tuned it out just a little bit more of the ironing marks. So it's a good point for improvement. Now, one thing that I did want to point out for most people that haven't already figured this out, go to your control panel. If you're looking for this setting, go down here, ultra low latency, because this is something that they changed with inside of the portion of the last update. If we were trying to figure out where that was, figured I might highlight that. But as you can see, like all these scores right here, time for overclocking, right? So with this, go ahead and get ourselves right around memory clock speed. I can probably get up to right there. Let's get a good to. I already know I can kind of push this to 250 easily. 255 to be exact. Go snowflake effect. I can probably get up to 260 once I get it to overclock the otherwise. But right now I'm going to bump it down just a little bit. Just so it doesn't overheat. Because I feel like if it's the outboard, inboard, this might be really good. Screw it. Give it all. Okay, with these changes, let's run the same exact test. See what happens before we turn on the AC. Nice. Okay, I'm starting to see some screen flickering, but that's probably just the HDR box. I'd like to think that this brought to the table probably a 2 to 3% improvement over the last update. Nothing super crazy, but definitely noteworthy. It's definitely better than AMD's, that's for sure. AMD was giving us like 10, 20 at most on the percentage up on like just stock. But on like the overclock wasn't too bad, but I had to like relearn what was going down and the instability of it running the stability on Time Spy was so crazy. It was just a hot mess. Cool, and the combined test, and then we'll be able to turn the AC, run the fine test. Oh, neato. Oh, wrong mouse. Not horrible, but I mean, hell, 54 is pretty good headroom. Alright. Go ahead and get ourselves a nice little turn on the AC. Alright, cool. Literally cool. I'll wait for it to get some good drops. Let's go ahead and open up the precision. Okay, cool. Not too bad. I'm gonna run it at 60, but just let it drop. Let it get comfy. I feel like I can go up a little bit higher on the clock speed. Probably like 1100s. But I want to test the clock speed on the GPU first before the memory, so I can just like find a constant stable. .24. It's getting on to 6 Celsius. 5. And that's the passing through air that's right there. Versus what now the constant on the actual physical core is 24. 24, 23. Once it gets even like remotely close to 0, I'm gonna have to try to like run the test. Just for the simple reason I don't want it getting super cold. Should be getting to 1 right there. Luckily the GPU right now is like pretty warm, keeping it cozy inside of there. I got on a negative. It's exactly 32 degrees. And it's 22 cell right there for the core. This is pretty good. Just chilled it down to anything. I'm gonna say once the GPU gets to 21 degrees itself, that would be like adequate in order to like run it. It'll be very chilled. It won't be anything close to like 0, which the outside fin would be experiencing at this point in time. So I'm excited to see what ends up happening. So we're already down to -1. It should get there once it gets to 2. Because everything Celsius is like 2.5 to 2.75, give or take. The difference between it. There we go, 6 to 7. Now just let it cycle. So let me go ahead and let it run the test. Because right now the AC kicked off. That means right now it's the chillest that it'll get. I get it warmed up, so the minute that we get down to that test, you can start to see it starting to like the outside fin temperature. Not once as cold as it used to be. Hopefully with everything just timed, it should kick in AC at the very end. Kick butt. If it doesn't kick in at the end of this test, I'll see what's up in order to like just trick it out. Or to make it work towards the end of this. So you can just run while doing the test, which will be the better situation at hand. Seems like every single time it comes around this little bump, it definitely loses its signal. Something's going on with Time Spy, or generally 3D Mark right now. Nice, that's already a huge gain. It may crash, I'm not 100% sure, but it's still running, so I'm gonna hope that this works in the end. Yes, the AC kicked on. Right during the physical test, so they'll chill it right before the combination test. Hey, what's going down? JKUH. Welcome to the stream. Joining the chat board during this overclock. Nothing too major for the update itself. Like I linked all the patch notes if you want to get into that. I'm hoping that this will run just perfect because it's getting chilled right now. Okay, so far so good. It cut out a little bit, but this looks pretty amazing. It's stable 40s. And the update is... Ah, there we go, it crashed. I knew it would. I can never get the GPU to go past, like, maybe. Did it finish? Yeah, it crashed. Okay, well it doesn't, like, crash. Titans just, like, you know, they run into the ground. They're just like, I don't really want to work anymore. I know where my falter was. Let's go ahead and bring this down to... We'll go 56. Then I'm going to bring this to 11. Try my luck. While the AC is running, at least. Might as well make use of it, right? Go gadget. Let's go make a really high bench score. Sweet. Now I might have to tune it down a little bit more, but I figure the 256 won't be too high. I was gonna go 257, but I was like, I'm chancing it, especially with like stretching out the bandwidth on the memory. But I think we'll be fine. You can kind of get away with that a little bit. Not a lot, but a little bit. I see it drops out here and there, but it's not horrible. Seems like the test passed. My worry is the combined test. Damn, almost 200. That was pretty good. If this finishes in like puts in some record points, I'll know right here when he looks at the very above. I don't know, this might crash. That right there is showing fatiguing points. And the AC is kicked off, rats. Let's see, will this be good enough? Fingers crossed. I think it's gonna pull it off. I think it'll be great. Gotta believe. Probably won't get as good as frame rate as I wanted to. I just don't want it to drop. But I think it'll be fine. No, I was wrong. I was right. Oh my god, that was good. I, I didn't think I was gonna post, but okay. Holy crap, 99%. Cool. I mean, that's really not that bad, all things considered, the way I was able to overclock it and it running a little bit cooler in a situation like that. Now knowing that that test can run really well and it's semi-stable, I kind of want to run it again, but tune down like the memory bandwidth, but run it during the AC test when it cycles in. That is pretty good. And there we go. We're in. Tag us in, coach. Let it chill. And then maybe we'll do some battle Port Royale at the very end. Warm it up with some Fire Strike, right? Give it a 30-second head start. Alright. Let's rock and roll. So by the time this out just right, I should be able to do the Port Royale on the end. I think I have an idea that might work for this. What ends up happening where the AC turns off for a second is because it needs a second to like cycle out. So if I open up a tiny vent where it's pushing out, it won't push out all the air around that surrounding, clicking off the sensor on it. It'll take a little bit of the pressure going into it, but it will balance it out and run the test a little bit longer. I'm hoping at least. Let's see here. That extra bandwidth seemed like it helped out a lot. Maybe we might be able to stretch the bandwidth some more then. Depending on how the test goes. But I want to run that Port Royale. That is pretty bad. The GPU is struggling at that clock frequency. Maybe 55 really is the sweet spot. I don't know if it made it or not. Damn. Oh, that could have been it right there, having that browser open. But I kind of want to back it off anyways. It just seems to be just decently unstable. Let's go to 33. Let's see if that's a nice little balance swap. Alright. Looks like I can get a stable overclock for the portion. Then we'll run the Port Royale, but I need it to be stable first. Well, so far so good. I think we might get out of this one unscathed with the increasement on the memory. No cutscenes or anything. This seems like it's gonna be the perfect like win. I think we're gonna be able to complete this test. Okay, fingers crossed. Last test, this is where I needed to like perform. Or at least for Fire Strike. We're gonna end it with the Port Royale and call it a day. So far I'm really happy with this update. It's really good. That's stable. That's really stable actually. See, I was able to get it better the last one though. Okay, with that being said then, let's see if I can push the limits on this. I think it'll do it. With one over, and I did it last time when I had the browser open. There's a chance it may, chance it may not. But I'm just gonna gamble my luck. That is some pretty good FPS. Insane. What one card can do now from Nvidia that may not even exist next, like, like I guess a few quarters, depending on how like a lawsuit may pan out. I don't know if it's anything better or worse. Well, it could have crashed there, but it didn't. Now the combined points. Will it last? Will it crash? Moments will tell. Oh, I think it passed, but just barely. Okay, so I don't think it liked the virtual RAM increasement. Because I lost over the last score that I had. Alright, it's gonna beat this. I feel like I can. One more test to rule them all. So far so good. Out the gate, it's working. It seems like it's steady. I noticed like there are FPS drops and performances points, so I'm really curious to see where this is going to turn out. I don't know. I can't tell if it's going to be a good test or a bad test. Because it's like by like a little bit of a minute portion of it. Hey, what's going down? Welcome to the stream. Well, this catches up to you. It's really good. It's probably got like at least like a 1.5 to 2% increasement over the last update. More of a stability, if anything. It definitely beats the AMD update that happened. They tanked my Radeon card. It didn't do too well, but I heard the 5700 cards are doing really damn well with that update. So like I think it was very proprietary. But for Nvidia news, like the new update for my Titan, this is like pretty legit. This is just me doing my overclock now with just trying to like post some really cool benchmarks on 3D Mark. But how are you doing? I would install the update personally myself if you haven't already started downloading it. I know it's like about like half a gig, and the links are just down below if you need a quick grab and download. But nothing too much past Forza that was updated, and then I think what else was messed with? Overwatch, and then let's see here, the known like VSync errors like with Firefox. Those were like the major portions of like the update. I think this one might post really well. It's staying in the mid to top 40s, and it's like really starting to like wind out. As long as it finishes and posts, then we're good. Damn, it almost got the mid 60s. I think it posts. Damn, I think I might have finally found the memory bandwidth that works really well with this. No! I've done better. So if 11 was like a sweet spot, then I wonder if 21, because 33 is what I went up to. Well, let's try 15, see if we can even get any increasements past that. Because at least I can get it to post. And last time I did 33, it wouldn't. So I'll find the median where it seems like 1100 isn't just good enough, but it will kind of work. And that Elixir 11 works really well. So if adding an additional 4 will add, I don't think it will mess with it too much. I think it might work really well. I just want to find something decently stable and then run a Port Royale after. It might tank it because it's like using all the tensor cores and really heating it up. Okay, this seemed to find. I think I might have found the sweet spot for the RAM for at least my card. In this update, should I say. I noticed every single update sometimes brings a little bit more of a challenge, but Nvidia's not that bad. Like AMD, I feel like I'm always trying to figure out like fixes to make it work. That was a really good run for test 1. So far the AC is running perfect. Now if we can go to 130 to 140, I'd be really happy with any of that test real fast. I was hoping, but at least we get to the 90s really fast. It really transitions, I'm starting to notice, like where certain things like this is like a very, because I'm rocking the 257 on the overclock on the GPU. 56 would work alright, but it wouldn't be super good. for pushing it. It'd be cool if, like, later on, if, like, a company was able to let you, like, a motherboard company, like, during an open window, flash your BIOS over to a higher clock standing. Not kind of like the Radeon's setting where they have it with, what is it, their master work. I forget what station it is. It's the Cisterin of the Wattman, where you just basically interact with it and you can overclock it. It's not really popular. Personally, I like messing with my own BIOS and like just updating it. But if they had just like that, like a window portfolio of profiles that you can just load in and load out. Now this is looking pretty promising already. 50. It posts. What do you get? There we go. Beat the other test at least. Now I know the sweet spot, the RAM for my card. Okay, now the question is, if I back off the GPU, or can I push the GPU a little harder? Let's see. I feel like this might be the farthest I can push it. I know for sure I can't run Port Royal. This is only because it's like 1080p and super sampled and all that other stuff. It's not as heavy intensive. But I am really curious to see if it'll even post past that point. It'll be coming into the end where it has the issues. I think it will, considering the AC is running smoothly. And the inside of the chassis is probably acclimating to being really cold now. Okay, so as we round about the very end, this is where it's going to tell me if it's going to work really well or not. comes our physical test. Okay, now the moment of truth. Will it falter, or will it survive? It has worse performance. You can't even stay in the top 40s, but depending on how it finishes. It finished, but now the question is, did it go down or up? Went down. Well, this should be perfect then. Okay, let's go run our Port Royale. It won't need its lovely portion of anything more past that. Sure, and stable. 55 is really good. Worst comes to worst, I put it at 40, but I know I've ran 55 at this setting before and it's run perfect. I absolutely love this test. This is probably one of the funner ones. Just because it seems like it's like I'm watching some kind of Bioshock. Not too shabby. Probably right about 30 Celsius on the inside. Okay, let's see what we got. Not too shabby. But did I beat my last entry? Oh, whoa. Almost there. Oh. Let's see here. I think I might be able to make it work. Because if I'm literally almost just about out there in a situation where they're supposed to be just a hair off, if I let it chill out, and I go to this, right? I think by going up just one, I can do it. If I don't go anywhere higher than that, I've done the 56 and it's worked right. 57 is like KO Kenning it right now for like the tensor cores. I don't think it would be able to handle that. But 6, I think it might be able to handle. Oh no, hold on. I'm trying to do Port Royale. just a hair below it. I would assume so. I'm doing a lot more testing on the situation on Port Royal right now, but I was doing Firestrike on 1080p, like more base situations, and it got a boost of about like 2%, which is not horribly bad, but it's way better than the last AMD update. So I'm just trying to like make it run like overclocked with what I got. Let's try 20. I know we can do this. Now it's just stretching the bandwidth. But great question, man. Welcome to the stream. And while it's running the test, I can show everyone real fast what I got up here for the patch notes for everyone that's kind of just joining in for the most part. That's the basics of what they basically kind of covered in the situation, which wasn't horribly too bad, but pretty cool. A lot of Forza and situation fixes crashing in the GPUs with the install drivers on certain ones. So clean installs were pretty much needed for some of them in order to make them run a little bit easier. I just need to get at least, darn, 28 points more. I'll be happy if I get 28 more points. So that'll put me in a whole new league. Oh no, it won't post. Not that well. Brass. Okay. Well, I mean, I should say it will post, but it won't post the way I want it to. 20 won't work. Let's see if maybe 16 will. Screw it, I'm gonna push it to 7. See what the internal temperature is real fast before we run the temperature again. On the outside case it's 15, but the inside there's an offset. So it's off by 10 degrees, give or take. Let's get it real cold actually. In fact, I'm gonna let this chill real fast. I'm gonna grab a snack. I'll be right back. I think it's like at almost like 7, which means the inside is like 17, which means by the time we run the test and it gets in there, we'll probably get it around like 20. Alright, cool. Let's go ahead and close this. Wondering if that like little angle extra will give it like a cold boost. So far so good though. Mid to like high 40s are really great before the ship shows up, then 50s and 60s is what you want to start seeing. Okay, let's see what we can get. So far temperatures are staying pretty steady. I'm really curious to see what's going to happen once we get towards the end if it finishes at 30 Celsius. It's climbing rapidly right now. Okay, it's kind of hitting a wall. It didn't crash, it's fine. Still good. Okay, it finished under 2 degrees chiller. Was that enough? Damn, no. It totally was not. Even with the colder, chiller portion. Maybe running the overclock of the GPU is the issue. Even getting it colder probably won't fix it. So last test, last run, and then that's pretty much where I'm going to leave it for the stream. I already kind of extended it way farther when I wanted to, but it was for all good runs. Now the question is if I get a nice test of, I guess a really good decadent portion of the GPU, I wonder if I can get the portion of it down to like maybe 54, might be a pretty good sweet spot. Yeah, it's still not as good as what I had before. Which tells me if that going up affects it that much, and going up between 5 and there, between there, what happens when I go up by just 3? But yeah, the driver's really good. I like it a lot. You have, oh my gosh, you're in for a surprise then. Like, you're in for a lot of performance. Um, yeah, when this catches up to you, it'll get to that situation. For as far as this goes, because I'm like doing a lot more stuff onto the overclock situation right now, playing with it. So I'm not really too more typing into situations, but when this catches up to you, it's a good update. Like, you're already in for a big performance. If you go back to my channel and watch the update, it's like 20 to 30%, which is really great. And then this one adds another like 2 to 3%. But yeah, right now I'm trying to like get some really good benchmarks. Assuming this is going to be it. This has to be like the I guess sweet spot where I'm gonna end up getting into like some really cool stuff. Oh, that's not a bad card. That's actually pretty good. The GTX series are like a great line of cards. I have like the GTX 1070 Ti Mini and then the 1060 Extreme, which is a really great card for like 4K entry. Well, that already seems like it's getting a drastic improvement. It means the next cycle, if I bring up the clock core by 1, I'll probably gain another 15, which might give me the better score on the ray tracing. Seems like I might have to like reset the computer for what I did for the Elgato card, where I guess that's where the blanking out screen's happening every so often on the stream. It's mainly just because I changed something. That's pretty good though. The 71, almost a 72, which means when we change over to the 256 is the maximum I can get with the AC running. The only bad part is it's about half a gigabyte in order to download, so it's going to take a second for most people to have decent connections. Might not. Might be a real quick second. Alright, cool. We're coming up towards the end. Give me a great score. Just want to get up to like the 9600 club. That'd be great. Ooh, almost. Rats. Tells me one thing. I did really well with tuning the RAM. Right, where was that? Because that means right when I get up to one more, because that 3 is going to remain. The 6 will add some. 7 will probably not give me any stability at all. Alright, last test, and hope that I can beat this, because right now at this point in time I have a 78, which was the highest I got. I'm trying to get up to the 9600, which will put me into a whole new bracket, which I'm excited about. It's like the 99% margin, and then the 2% margin of that. Holding down the thing to see if it'll boost it by coldness. Not too bad, 24. It's up to 25, 26, then yeah, that's probably right on par. Finishing around 28 degrees Celsius. Finish, but now the question is, what's the score? Damn. So, I guess that would be my highest scores tonight. I did decent. Still at the 99. I just wanted a better score. I wanted to get into that 9600. Oh well. Maybe next time. As you can kind of see where I kind of got like way closer than what I was supposed to. That was the closest one right there. But everyone, I'm going to go ahead and bid you adieu. If you're new to the network, you can always hit the subscription bell, and I'll be up for more updates for Nvidia as well as AMD as they patch in their corresponding cards. What the news may bring into that, doing some like overclocks, but I'm going to tighten the belt on overclocks in the near future to kind of keep it under an hour, if not maybe 30 minutes, 40 minutes at most. But everyone, I'll see you guys and gals in the